Almost 100 years ago, I belonged to a little girl named Marcella. Marcella's other toys and I had some great adventures. I bet you've had some great adventures too. Sometimes we did the wrong things and we got in trouble, but we always learned something from our adventures. Marcella's daddy's name was Johnny Gruelle. He wrote stories about our great adventures. He also drew pictures to go along with the stories. Those pictures are called illustrations. I'm going to tell you about some of our adventures, and you will see some of Mr. Gruelle's illustrations. But first, I need to introduce you to some of Marcella's other toys. This is a Native American doll. And this is a toy soldier doll. And this is a jumping jack doll. Marcella also has a French doll and a Dutch boy doll who cries "Mama" when he is tipped backward and forward. One day, all of us dolls were left to ourselves. Marcella had placed us all around the room and told us to be nice children while she was away. And there we sat and never even so much as wiggled a finger until Marcella had left the room. Then the soldier doll, he turned to me and he winked at me. And when the front door clicked and we all knew that we were alone in the house, we all scrambled to our feet. The tin soldier cried, "Now, let's have a good time. Let's all go in search of something to eat." And all the dolls said, "Yes, let's all go in search of something to eat." I told them, when the little girl had me out playing with her this morning, she carried me by a door near the back of the house, and I smelled something which smelled as if it would taste delicious. "Ooh la la!" cried the French doll. "Then you lead the way, Raggedy Ann." And the Native American doll said, "I think it would be a good plan to elect Raggedy Ann as our leader on this expedition." At this, all the other dolls clapped their hands together and shouted, "Hooray! Raggedy Ann will be our leader." Ooh, I was very proud indeed to have the confidence and love of all the other dolls, and I said I would be very glad to be their leader. "Follow me," I cried, and I quickly ran across the floor on my wobbly legs. The other dolls followed, racing about the house until we came to the pantry door. I stuck out my arms and said, "This is the place." And sure enough, we all smelled something which we knew must be very good to eat. But none of us were tall enough to open the door. And although we pushed and we pulled with all our might, the door remained tightly closed. We were talking and pulling and pushing, and every once in a while one of us would fall over and get stepped on by the others in our efforts to open the door. Finally, I moved away from the others and I sat down on the floor. When the dolls discovered me sitting there, running my rag hands through my yarn hair, they knew I was thinking. "Shh," they said to each other, and quietly came over and sat down in front of me. I said to them, "There must be a way to get inside." And all the dolls cried to one another, "Raggedy says there must be a way to get inside." I told them, "I can't seem to think clearly today. It feels as if my head were ripped." And at this, the French doll ran to me and took off my bonnet. She said, "Ooh la la, yes, there is a rip in your head, Raggedy." And she pulled a pin from her skirt and pinned up my head. "It's not a very neat job, for I did get some puckers in it," she told me. But I said, "Oh, that is ever so much better. Now I can think quite clearly." And all the dolls cried, "Now Raggedy can think quite clearly." I told them, "My thoughts must have leaked out the rip before." And all the dolls agreed Yes, they must have leaked out before, dear Raggedy. I said to the dolls, now that I can think so clearly, I think the door must be locked. And to get inside, we have to unlock it. The Dutch doll leaned forward and said, Mama. And then he straightened up and cried, that will be easy, for we will have the brave tin soldier shoot the key out of the lock. And at that, the soldier doll jumped up and he raised his gun and excitedly he said, I can easily do that. But the French doll placed her hands over her ears and cried, ooh la la, oh Raggedy Ann, please do not let him shoot. I stuck out my arm and said, no, stop. We must think of a quieter way. After thinking quite hard for a moment, I jumped up and said, I have it. And I grabbed the jumping jack and held him up to the door. And the jumping jack raised his arms and he unlocked the door. And then all the dolls pushed and the door swung open. My, such a scramble. The dolls piled over one another in their desire to be the first at the goodies. And we swarmed upon the pantry shelves. And in our eagerness, we spilled a pitcher of cream, which ran all over the French doll's dress. The Native American doll found some cornbread and spread butter on it and sat down for a good feast. A jar of raspberry jam was overturned, and we all ate of that until our faces were all purple. The toy soldier doll fell from the shelf 3 times and bent one of his legs, but he scrambled right back up again. Never had we had so much fun and excitement, and we had all eaten our fill when we heard the click of the front door. We did not take time to climb from the shelves, but we all rolled or jumped off to the floor and scrambled back to our room as fast as we could run, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs and jam along the way. Just as Marcella came into the room, we dropped in whatever position we happened to be in. Marcella saw us. This is funny. They were all left sitting in their places around the room. I wonder if Fido has been shaking them up. Then she saw my face and she picked me up. Why, Raggedy Ann, you are all sticky. I do believe you are covered with jam. And Marcella licked my hand. Yes, it's jam. Shame on you, Raggedy Ann. You've been in the pantry, and all the others too. And with this, Marcella dropped me on the floor and left the room. When she came back, Marcella had on an apron, and her sleeves were rolled up. She picked up all us sticky dolls and put us in a basket and carried us out under the apple tree in the garden. There she had placed her little wash tub, and she took us one at a time, and she scrubbed us with a scrubbing brush, and she doused us up and down, and this way and that way in the soap suds until we were clean. And then she hung us all on the clothesline in the sunshine to dry. There we hung all day, swinging and twisting about as the breeze swayed the clothesline. After about an hour of silence, I said, I do believe she scrubbed my face so hard she wore off my smile. The wind twisted the toy soldier doll around so he could see my face, and he said, no, it is still there, but I do believe my arms will never work without squeaking. They feel so rusted. Just then, the wind twisted the little Dutch doll and loosened his clothespin, and he fell to the grass below with a sawdusty bump. And as he rolled over, he said, Mama, in a squeaky voice. Late in the afternoon, the back door opened and Marcella came out with a table and chairs. After setting the table, she took all the dolls from the line and placed us around the table. We had lemonade with grape jelly in it, which made it a beautiful purple color, and little baby teeny-weeny cookies with powdered sugar on them. After this lovely dinner, Marcella took us all in the house, and where we had our hair brushed and nice clean nighties put on. Then we were placed in our beds, and Marcella kissed each of us good night and tiptoed from the room. We all lay as still as mice for a few minutes, and then I rose up on my cotton stuffed elbows and I said, "I have been thinking." All the other dolls said to each other, "Shh, Raggedy has been thinking." "Yes," I said, "I have been thinking." Marcella gave us that nice dinner under the trees to teach us a lesson. She wished us to know that we could have had all the goodies we wished whenever we wished if we had behaved ourselves. And our lesson was that we must never take without asking what we could always have for the asking. So let us all remember and try never again to do anything which might cause those who love us any unhappiness. All the other dolls chimed in and said, "Yes, let us all remember." And with a merry twinkle in my shoe-button eyes, I lay back in my little bed, my cotton head filled with thoughts of love and happiness. I hope you like this story, which is based on Johnny Gruelle's story called Raggedy Ann Learns a Lesson. Until next time, good night and sweet dreams.